My beloved child, the timing of this message is sacred. Something you've been waiting for is finally beginning right now. Pause. Breathe. Let that sink into your spirit. Because out of every moment in your life, out of every second that could have passed, you are here. Now, listening to this. And that is not random. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. There is a quiet shift happening in your life at this exact moment. Subtle, invisible, yet powerful enough to change the direction of everything you thought was stuck forever. You have been carrying a silent weight, not always visible to others, not always spoken out loud, but you know it. The long nights when your thoughts wouldn't rest, the mornings when you woke up tired before the day even began, the prayers you whispered when no one else could hear, the moments you almost gave up, but something inside you said, just hold on a little longer. That something was not just hope. It was preparation, because what you are stepping into now is not a small change. It is not a minor improvement. It is the opening of a chapter that will make you look back one day and say, that moment changed everything. Right now, something you've been waiting for is finally beginning. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. You may not see it yet. You may not feel fireworks or hear trumpets. But deep within your life's unseen layers, a door has just unlocked. A door that was sealed not because you weren't worthy, but because the timing wasn't ready. Until now, there is a reason the old doors kept closing, a reason the delays kept happening, a reason people walked away, plans collapsed, opportunities vanished, and things you prayed for slipped through your fingers. It wasn't punishment, it wasn't rejection, it was protection. You were being kept away from something that would have broken you before you were strong enough to carry what's coming next. And now, you are strong enough. You don't realize how much you've grown, how much you've matured, how much wisdom your pain carved into your soul. You don't see it yet, but you are not the same person who started this journey. That version of you would not have survived what's about to unfold. But this version of you? This version is ready. There is a blessing moving toward you that requires silence before arrival. That requires patience before manifestation. That requires heartbreak before healing. And yes, it requires this exact moment. Listen closely now, because this is important. There is a divine rearrangement happening around your life. Things are being removed that no longer belong. People are being redirected. Delays are being lifted. Energy is being realigned. Paths are being cleared. You might feel a strange mix of emotions lately. Excitement without knowing why. Restlessness without understanding it, nostalgia mixed with anticipation, peace mixed with fear. That is not confusion. That is transition. That is what it feels like when your old life and your new life overlap for a brief moment. And you are standing right in the middle of that crossing. The reason this message reached you now is because something you asked for a long time ago is finally ready to answer you back. Not in the way you imagined. Not in the form you expected. But in the exact way that will protect your future. You are about to receive clarity where there was confusion, relief where there was pressure, movement where there was stagnation, connection where there was loneliness, provision where there was lack. But first, you must understand something. What's coming will not feel gentle at first. It will feel unfamiliar. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like your comfort zone is dissolving beneath your feet. Because growth always feels like loss before it feels like gain. You may be asked to let go of something you're still emotionally attached to. You may be pushed to take a step you feel unready for. You may be separated from people who once felt like home. You may be led toward a path that scares you more than staying where you are. Do not resist it, because what you are being guided into now is not a downgrade. It is not a mistake. It is not chaos. It is an upgrade disguised as disruption. The very thing you thought was breaking your life open, is actually breaking your life free. There is a version of your future waiting for you that cannot reach you unless you move forward now. And that is why this message found you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are not unlucky. You are right on time. Every tear you cried, every door that closed, every no you received, every delay that frustrated you, every lonely season you survived, it all built the exact foundation needed for what begins now. Something has been watching over your steps quietly, adjusting outcomes you never even noticed, saving you from accidents you never saw coming, redirecting people out of your life when they were about to damage your destiny. And now that same unseen hand is opening a door that will not close again, not because life will suddenly become easy, but because you are finally stepping into a season where your efforts meet opportunity, where your patience meets reward, where your faith meets evidence, where your wounds meet healing, where your isolation meets divine connection, where your waiting meets fulfillment. Right now, something in the unseen is shifting into position for you. A phone call, a message, an invitation, a realization, a chance encounter, a new idea, a sudden opportunity, a financial breakthrough, an emotional healing, a creative awakening, a relational restoration. One small moment will happen soon that will look ordinary to everyone else, but you will feel it, because something inside you will whisper, "This is it. This is the beginning." And when that moment comes, do not talk yourself out of it. Do not overthink it. Do not doubt it. Do not minimize it. Do not sabotage it with fear. Step into it, even if your hands are shaking, even if your voice trembles, even if your heart is racing. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is obedience in the presence of fear. And right now, you are being invited into a higher version of your life. You didn't imagine this moment. You didn't attract this by accident. You didn't stumble into this message randomly. You were guided here, because your soul was ready to hear what your mind has been resisting. You are not meant to stay stuck. You are not meant to stay small. You are not meant to stay hidden. You are not meant to stay in survival mode. You are meant to expand. You are meant to rise. You are meant to receive. You are meant to be seen. You are meant to experience joy again. You are meant to live without constant fear of the next disaster. And that season is beginning now. Even if everything around you still looks the same. Even if nothing has changed outwardly yet. The seed has already been planted. And once the seed is planted, the harvest is guaranteed. My beloved child, the timing of this message is sacred, because the next chapter of your life is not coming. It is already unfolding, quietly, powerfully, inevitably, and you were chosen to witness its beginning. Stay here. Do not rush. Do not scroll. Do not leave, because what you are about to hear next will confirm what your soul already knows. This moment is not ordinary. It is the doorway into the life you have been waiting for. My beloved child, if you are still here, it is because something inside you knows this is not just a video. This is a checkpoint in your life. And what I am about to reveal now will explain why the last season of your life felt so heavy, so confusing, so slow, and why the next season will feel so fast it may almost take your breath away. There is a truth most people never realize. When your breakthrough is close, your life becomes quiet. Not peaceful quiet, unsettling quiet. Conversations fade, motivation dips, old dreams lose their color, people stop calling, plans fall apart, nothing seems to move forward. You think you are being abandoned, but in reality, you are being repositioned. Right now, your life is being cleared of noise so you can hear the next instruction. Because something extraordinary is about to intersect your ordinary routine. And it will not announce itself with drama. It will arrive disguised as something small. A moment you could easily ignore. A thought you could dismiss. A chance you could overthink away. That is why this message is reaching you now, before that moment happens. So you do not miss it. So you do not sabotage it. So you do not walk past the very thing you prayed for. There is a hidden pattern in your life that you may not have noticed yet. Every time you were about to level up, something ended. A relationship, a job, a friendship, a plan, a version of yourself. And every time it hurt more than you expected. Because endings always feel like loss. Until you realize they were exits from a life that was too small for who you were becoming. What is happening now is not random delay. It is divine compression. Everything you have been waiting years for is being condensed into a much shorter timeline. You are entering a season where weeks will do what years could not do before. Where one conversation will open doors that 10 years of effort could not open. where one decision will reroute your entire future, where one opportunity will collapse multiple struggles at once. But here is the shocking part most people never hear: not everyone is allowed into this season. Many people stand at the doorway of their breakthrough and turn back, because it requires them to release their old identity. It requires them to stop seeing themselves as unlucky. It requires them to let go of the story they tell themselves about why their life is the way it is. It requires them to believe they are worthy of something better. And that is terrifying, because pain becomes familiar, struggle becomes comfortable, waiting becomes normal, and success feels suspicious. But you are different. You are here because you did not quit, even when you wanted to. You are here because something in you kept choosing hope, even when logic said it was pointless. You are here because you survived a season that was never meant to last forever. And now, you are being invited into a season that will not look anything like your past. Your life is about to gain momentum. And when it does, you will understand why everything had to fall apart first. There are 3 invisible shifts happening around you right now. First, your perception is changing. You are starting to see things you used to ignore, red flags you used to excuse, opportunities you used to underestimate. Your intuition is becoming sharper. Your tolerance for nonsense is getting lower. Your desire for meaning is getting stronger. That is not coincidence. That is preparation. Second, your connections are changing. Some people are slowly drifting away, not because anyone did something wrong, but because their role in your life is complete. They were meant for your survival season, not your expansion season. New people will enter your life soon. Unexpected people. People who speak your language. People who understand your vision. People who open doors without you begging. People who see your value without you proving it. Do not cling to what is leaving. It is making space for what belongs. Third, your opportunities are changing. What once required struggle will now require alignment. What once felt impossible will now feel strangely easy. What once drained you will now energize you. What once confused you will now make sense. And this is the part that will shock you. Something you thought was dead is about to come back to life. A dream you buried. A path you abandoned. An idea you gave up on. A connection you thought was over. A version of yourself you thought you lost. It is not coming back the same way. It is coming back upgraded. And when it does, you will finally understand why it had to disappear first. Because the old version could not carry the new weight. Right now, your life is standing on a fragile edge between what was and what will be. And your next few choices matter more than you realize. You will soon be tested. Not with hardship. With opportunity. With distraction. With temptation to stay comfortable. With fear disguised as logic. You will feel a pull to do something different. To take a risk. To say yes to something unfamiliar. To walk away from something familiar. And your mind will try to talk you out of it. It will say, wait until you're more ready. Wait until things are more stable. Wait until you're more confident. Wait until you have more proof. Do not wait. Because readiness does not come before action. Readiness comes because of action. The window opening for you now is not permanent. It is timed. It is precise. It is intentional. And it is aligned with the version of you that finally believes they deserve more. If you hesitate too long, this version of the opportunity will move on. Not forever, but long enough to cost you years. And you have already waited long enough. There is something else you must know now. You are being protected from a trap that looks like comfort. It looks like safety. It looks like routine. It looks like stability. But it is actually stagnation. You will soon feel restless where you used to feel content. Bored where you used to feel secure. Uninspired where you used to feel grateful. Do not judge yourself for that. That restlessness is not ingratitude. It is a signal. It means your soul has outgrown your environment. It means your next level is calling you. It means staying where you are now would be disrespecting the future version of yourself. And that future version of you is closer than you think. Within the next phase of your life, you will receive a sign so specific that you will not be able to deny it. It may come through words someone speaks to you. It may come through something you randomly read. It may come through a sudden idea that won't leave your mind. It may come through an unexpected invitation. It may come through a door opening where there was no door before. When it happens, your heart will recognize it before your mind understands it. That is your green light. That is your confirmation. That is your moment. Do not shrink in that moment. Do not play small in that moment. Do not pretend you are not ready in that moment. Because you are. Everything you went through trained you for it. Every disappointment strengthened you for it. Every delay prepared you for it. Every heartbreak refined you for it. Every lonely night matured you for it. Every tear watered the seed for it. My beloved child, you are not listening to this by accident. This is your reminder that your life is not random. Your timing is not broken. Your destiny is not cancelled. Your breakthrough is not imaginary. It is scheduled. It is approaching. And it is closer now than it has ever been. Stay present. Stay open. Stay courageous. Stay aware. Because what begins next will make the waiting finally make sense. My beloved child, something is shifting inside you right now as you listen to these words. You may feel it as a quiet heaviness lifting. You may feel it as a strange calm. You may feel it as a sudden awareness. You may feel it as a subtle excitement you cannot explain. That is not emotion. That is recognition. Your soul is recognizing a truth your life has been moving toward for a long time. Because there is something you must understand now, something most people never realize until it is too late. You were not meant to live an average life. You were not meant to blend into the background. You were not meant to simply survive. You were not meant to repeat the same year over and over again with different dates. There is a calling on your life that is bigger than your fears, bigger than your past, bigger than your current situation. And that calling is activating now. You have been under a quiet spiritual training program. Every delay, every disappointment, every betrayal, every closed door, every lonely season, every confusing moment, every time you asked, "Why is this happening to me?" None of it was random. It was calibration. Your mind was being sharpened. Your heart was being softened. Your patience was being stretched. Your ego was being dismantled. Your discernment was being refined. Because what is coming into your life now requires emotional maturity. It requires wisdom. It requires courage. It requires humility. It requires strength that only suffering can build. And you have that strength now, even if you don't feel like you do. Here is a revelation that may surprise you. Your biggest breakthrough will not come through force. It will come through alignment. You will not have to chase it. You will not have to beg for it. You will not have to manipulate it. You will not have to prove yourself for it. It will come to you naturally when you finally step into the version of yourself that no longer doubts their own worth. And that version of you is emerging right now. That is why your tolerance for low quality experiences is disappearing. That is why you feel tired of explaining yourself. That is why you feel drained by shallow conversations. That is why you feel uninterested in drama. That is why you feel a deep craving for meaning. That is why you feel an urge to simplify your life. That is why you feel a pull toward solitude sometimes. That is not isolation. That is elevation. You are outgrowing environments that once felt like home. And that is always uncomfortable. Because growth feels like grief before it feels like freedom. You are grieving the old version of yourself. You are grieving old dreams. You are grieving old identities. You are grieving old timelines. You are grieving the life you thought you would have by now. And it hurts. But what you don't realize yet is this. You are not losing your life. You are shedding your cocoon. And butterflies do not crawl out of cocoons gently. They fight their way out. They struggle. They tremble. They feel trapped. But that struggle is what strengthens their wings. If someone helped them out too early, they would never be able to fly. In the same way, if your life had become easy too soon, you would not have been strong enough to carry what is coming next. That is why things had to be hard. That is why people had to leave. That is why dreams had to be delayed. That is why plans had to collapse. That is why answers had to stay hidden. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because you are about to step into a level of your life where your influence expands. where your voice matters more, where your presence impacts others, where your decisions create ripple effects, where your story becomes someone else's survival guide, where your healing becomes someone else's hope, where your courage becomes someone else's permission. And you cannot carry that responsibility with a fragile spirit. You needed to be forged. You needed to be tested. You needed to be humbled. You needed to be refined. And now, you are ready. There is something else happening beneath the surface of your life right now. Your intuition is being activated. You are starting to feel when something is off. You are starting to sense when someone is not being honest. You are starting to notice patterns repeating. You are starting to feel drawn to certain ideas, places, or people. You are starting to feel repelled by things that once excited you. That is not mood swings. That is guidance. Your inner compass is waking up, and if you start listening to it now, your life will accelerate faster than you ever imagined. Here is a once-in-a-lifetime truth: the next chapter of your life will not be built the same way the last one was. In the past, you chased, you struggled, you forced, you overworked. You waited for permission, you tried to fit in, you tried to be chosen, you tried to prove yourself. In the next chapter, you will attract, you will align, you will be invited, you will be supported, you will be guided, you will be recognized, you will be chosen naturally, not because you became arrogant, but because you finally stopped abandoning yourself, you finally stopped shrinking, you finally stopped settling, you finally stopped tolerating less than you deserve. And the world always adjusts when you adjust your self-worth. Right now, your energy is changing, and energy never lies. That is why certain doors are about to open effortlessly. That is why certain people will start treating you differently. That is why certain opportunities will suddenly appear. That is why certain problems will suddenly resolve. That is why certain fears will suddenly lose their power over you. Because your internal identity is upgrading. And when your internal identity upgrades, your external reality must follow. This is not imagination. This is a universal law. You do not get what you want. You get what you are ready to receive. And you are becoming ready now. There is one final thing you must hear in this part, and it is crucial. Do not announce your next move too early. Do not explain your dreams to people who cannot see your vision. Do not seek validation for something that was meant to be protected. Do not let doubt from others contaminate your faith. Because what is forming in your life right now is fragile in its early stage. Like a seed underground. It needs silence. It needs darkness. It needs patience. It needs protection, before it can break through the surface. And if you expose it too soon to criticism, to jealousy, to disbelief, to negativity, it can be weakened before it even has a chance to grow. So move quietly now, prepare silently, trust privately, grow internally, let your results make the announcement later, because when your breakthrough becomes visible, it will shock the same people who doubted you, it will confuse the same people who underestimated you, it will inspire the same people who ignored you, and it will validate every tear you cried in private. My beloved child, this is not just motivation, this is confirmation. Your life is not falling apart, it is falling into alignment. Your delays are not denials, they are divine timing. Your loneliness is not rejection, it is redirection. Your confusion is not chaos, it is transformation. And your waiting is not wasted time, it is sacred preparation. Stay here, stay grounded, stay courageous, stay open, because what you are stepping into next is not a small upgrade, it is a complete life shift, and you are closer to it now than you have ever been before. My beloved child, the moment you have been quietly preparing for is moving closer now. And this part is important, because what I am about to say will explain why your life is about to speed up in ways you did not expect. There is a hidden rule in life that almost no one is taught. When your internal world becomes stable, your external world begins to move rapidly. For a long time, your life felt slow, stuck, delayed, paused, like nothing was changing no matter how hard you tried. But what was really happening was not stagnation. It was stabilization. Your emotions were being strengthened. Your reactions were being softened. Your triggers were being healed. Your patterns were being broken. Your fears were being exposed. Your self-respect was being rebuilt. Because the next season of your life will move too fast for an emotionally fragile version of you. You would not have survived it before. But now, you will. This is the season where your patience finally gets paid back. Not in small ways. In dramatic ways. In ways that make people say, "How did that happen so fast?" In ways that make you look at your life and think, "Is this really my reality now?" In ways that make your old problems feel distant and unreal. And this is where many people self-destruct without realizing it. Because when good things start happening quickly, fear shows up. Not fear of failure. Fear of success. Fear of change. Fear of losing control. Fear of leaving your old identity behind. Fear of disappointing people who are used to the old you. Fear of outgrowing relationships you are still emotionally attached to. Fear of finally having something worth protecting. So let me warn you gently now, when your life starts improving suddenly, do not panic. Do not self-sabotage. Do not create drama. Do not pick unnecessary fights. Do not run back to old habits. Do not doubt good news. Do not question your worth. Because your nervous system is used to chaos. And peace will feel suspicious at first. Stability will feel boring at first. Success will feel unreal at first. Love will feel unsafe at first. Calm will feel uncomfortable at first. Not because something is wrong, but because your body has not learned yet that danger is over. So when your blessings arrive, breathe, slow down, receive them without apology. You do not have to earn rest anymore. You already paid for it with your suffering. You do not have to prove your worth anymore. You already proved it with your endurance. You do not have to explain your growth anymore. You already lived it. There is something else happening right now that you must be aware of. Your influence is expanding. Even if you do not see it yet. Even if you do not feel famous. Even if you do not feel important. Even if you do not feel powerful. People are watching how you move. People are sensing your energy shift. People are being affected by your healing. People are being inspired by your resilience. People are quietly using your story as proof that survival is possible. And very soon, someone is going to come into your life and say something that changes how you see yourself forever. They will reflect your value back to you. They will validate something you always doubted. They will open a door you did not know existed. They will introduce you to a world you did not think you were allowed to enter. And this will not be coincidence. This will be alignment. This will be confirmation. This will be destiny responding to your readiness. Here is another revelation most people never hear. Your next breakthrough will not look dramatic. It will look simple. It will look ordinary. It will look almost too easy. And that is how you will know it is real. Because struggle is not the proof of destiny. Peace is. If something feels calm instead of chaotic, that is not laziness. That is alignment. If something feels natural instead of forced, that is not weakness. That is guidance. If something feels supportive instead of draining, that is not coincidence. That is confirmation. Your life is about to enter a phase where things fall into place instead of falling apart. Where answers come instead of more questions. Where doors open instead of closing. Where solutions appear instead of problems multiplying. Where people show up instead of disappearing. Where clarity replaces confusion. Where momentum replaces stagnation. And when that happens, you must promise yourself one thing. Do not rush through it. Do not numb yourself. Do not scroll your life away. Do not live on autopilot. Do not miss your own miracle because you are distracted by your phone. Be present, because the moments coming into your life soon will not repeat. They are one-time doors, one-time conversations, one-time chances, one-time alignments, one-time decisions. And your awareness in those moments will decide everything. Now listen carefully, because this next truth will shock you. Something you are currently worried about. Something you think is a problem. Something